Hello friends, I am Manju Sharma, and we further in our understanding of this beautiful ode written by John Keats, the youngest of the Romantic poets, and the poem that he has written, the ode that he has written to the nightingale, is a passionate expression which deals with writing down the pain that the poet is suffering, and in fact all mortals suffer, and which has been explained to its biggest amplitude through the comparison with the happiness of the nightingale, with the potential of the nightingale, that she is able to sing to the heart. She is able to reach out to someone who is suffering, and even in this suffering state has all ears and has all senses to be bewitched by the beauty of this bird. The nightingale is singing in a full-throated ease. She, as the poet believes, is not born for death. She is hidden among the branches of the trees, and she is receiving the full light from the queen moon and also from the starry fairies, the fairies of the stars. Whereas the poet is lying down on earth with his great pain and with his great realization that the world has no acceptance for him, that even in his youth he has come to suffer from this. So, admiring the beauty of the bird as being impactful and realizing in complete intensity his own suffering, the poet writes down. Now, before I begin to explain this, I would just make a small analysis of what the poet had said. He hears a bird from somewhere among the branches, and on hearing the bird, the nightingale, he becomes aware that this song is the song of happiness. He calls the bird the spirit of the trees because he cannot see her. He says that this bird is able to sing so beautifully because she is there among the branches above the earth. Earth here, which is full of pain, which kills people in their youth, which takes away, steals away beauty, and which does not allow for the flourish of human qualities. In this stage, the poet desires to fade away in the beauty of the bird. Now he gives, in these lines, he gives the explanation of the place that he is. I cannot see what flowers are at my feet, so it is dark. It must be night. I cannot see what flowers are at my feet, nor what soft incense hangs upon the boughs. Boughs are branches. I cannot even identify because everything seems to be scented. Everything seems to be full of fragrance. Could be the beautiful place that he was sitting, or could be because the impact of the melody of this nightingale has caused him to think that the world is beautiful. So now there is treat for your eyes and there is treat for your sense of smell. There is soft incense, fragrance hanging from the branches, but in embalmed darkness. The darkness has been given the expression, the adjective of embalmed. The root word being balm, which treats someone of pain. Embalmed means full of, the impact of relief. So, this darkness, I can only guess each sweet wherewith this seasonable month endows, I can only guess. The fragrances that are coming to me, the incense that is coming to me, I can only guess. And what is this? The grass. I can feel the fragrance of the grass. देखो जब दर्द में लोग होते हैं तो वो कितने ज़्यादा संवेदनशील हो जाते हैं, सब कुछ उनको अलग से. आप अगर कभी घास में बैठो और किसी बाग में चले भी जाते हो किसी के साथ में, तो आपको जिसके साथ होते हो बस वही दिख रहा होता है. अच्छा है पोएट अकेले हैं और उनको सब कुछ दिख रहा है, बिकॉज नाउ रियली हिज स्पिरिट इज वॉन्डरिंग विद द स्पिरिट ऑफ द बर्ड. ही कैन फील द ग्रास, द thicket are the bushes, and the fruit tree wild. He can also smell the fragrance of the wild fruit tree with hawthorn. Hawthorn and eglantine are flowers. So he can feel that hawthorn is growing there, and there is the pastoral eglantine, the flower that grows in the villages. Fast fading violets covered up in the leaves. देखो उनको ये भी महसूस हो रहा है कि ये वो वायलेट्स हैं जो अब कवर अप हो रहे हैं, क्योंकि शायद वायलेट्स की फ्रेग्रेंस कम होती जा रही है धीरे धीरे. And mid May's eldest child, the coming musk rose. He can also feel the fragrance of the musk rose, full of the dewy wine. अब आपको स्पर्श, द टच का भी सेंस आ रहा है. ऐसा लग रहा है सारे फूल वाइन से भरे हुए हैं, लेकिन ड्यूई वाइन. The dew has settled upon these, the murmurous haunt of flies and summer eves. And he can also hear the murmurous sound of the flies and summer eves. This stanza is a complete treat to the eye, to the touch, and to the sound as well. The sound of the melody of the bird is pouring into his ears, and his nose and his touch is able to perceive the beauty of all these. Darkling, I listen. Now this is an expression for the nightingale. He calls the nightingale darkling because it is, just as a duck has a duckling. So the dark place has a darkling. So this is now no further a nightingale. He calls it the child of dark. And for many a time I have been half in love with easeful death. Now the poet makes it very clear. He says, at many times when I am alone and when I am suffering, I am half in love with. I go half in love with easeful death. I have called him soft names in many a mused rhyme. In my poems written by the blessings of God, in all those I have called soft names to death. I have pampered and called it to take into the air my quiet breath. Escapism again. He says, I have called death and I have requested death to take away my breath. Death is personified. Now more than ever seems it rich to die. But at this moment, it is the best that I should die. Several times I have called death. I have wanted to escape away from the world many a times, but that was just half-hearted desire to die. But now that you are pouring forth your beauty, that the atmosphere around is so beautiful, so fragrant, so soft in touch, I think it rich to die. If I die here, it would be a rich death. So he's valuing, he is contemplating upon the worth of this death that he might get in this dark night with one companion, the darkling, the nightingale. To seize upon the midnight with no pain. Now it is midnight. So much he has been in the company of the nightingale, so much the bird has been singing on to him, or that even if has stopped singing, the sound is reverberating in his mind, and he says, I wish to seize upon the midnight with no pain. People might, as I've heard a few people say, that they may have a difficult life, but the death should be an easy one. So, the same anguish that most mortals who suffer miserably, they express, the same anguish is being expressed by the poet, and he says, I want to seize upon. He doesn't use the word die. He says, cease. Immediately I want to come to an end with no pain, while thou art pouring forth thy soul abroad in such an ecstasy. While you are singing, because this song is imparting to me a happiness. I do not want to die in pain. Now that you are inducing so much of happiness into my heart, into my soul, I want to cease now. Still wouldst thou sing, and I have ears in vain. Still, there is a pun upon the word. Still means even now. Still means unmoving. The bird, because he has not seen, he has not heard the flutter of the bird. He has a flutter of the wings of the bird. So he believes that the bird is sitting still. That again is a quality which not earthly beings have. When they sing, they at times move about, or they make certain movements, whereas this bird seems to have made no movement. He says, even when I pass away, you will sing, and I have ears in vain. Dash again. Why are the ears in vain? I want to become, to thy high requiem, become a sword. Sword is recipient. Requiem is the song sung at the death of someone. Already he can feel that the bird is maybe ending her song. So he says, at this moment, before you end your song, I want to become a sword. I want to become a container to for the beauty of your voice. Excuse me. These two stanzas are again expressing the escapism that has consumed the poet, that has overcome the poet. He wants to escape, he wants to seize upon, he wants to end. And why? Because before dying, he has had all senses of beauty. He has had beautiful vision for his eyes. He has had beautiful song for his ears. He has had a treat for his nostrils, for his nose, and he has had the beautiful touch, the dewy touch of the midnight. So he now wants to have the flavor of death. All five senses satisfied. Sensuous poem. A poem with the highest degree of sensuousness, of the most Hellenic expressions here, and of the suggestion of the fact that earth has more of sufferings and less of joy to give to the world. Here I end. This is all for today. Thank you.